Hi, Misha here, and as promised, we're outside the range with the Swiss SiG 552P Commando, and put the stock on it, and for now, pinned on an extension to get us to 16. Only 10 of these came into the country, so this would be one of those guns that people keep unfired as a collectible in the box, in the safe, UV and climate controlled. So what are we gonna do?
Throw in the mud.
Run some steel case crap ammo through it. Get a good old scratch going on right there. The old Swiss SiG scratch. So let's see how she shoots. 552, first shot. Yep. I knew that was going to happen with that outer thing.
I just let it go.
Hey, it's entertaining here. Yeah, this is a slip over, and I was curious about that. No, to be fair, this has those 3 set screws. This is one of the old MFIs. I dogged them down right before shooting, and I was curious. And you can see where when it drooped off, it kind of got it there. But luckily, the extension is fine. We just checked it. It's still solid. Yeah, you see her first, guys. But yeah, now you know about these. I always had kind of my doubts about the brakes and things that bolted onto barrels. The better one that we found in the past is the one from E&L that more squeezes down, but that's also why you have kind of the central core and you can just put it whenever on top of that. Anyway, we've got a couple more rounds left, so we'll keep on. We'll keep on. Held up. Okay, we had to run in, guys. It started to storm, you can hear. So yeah, that happened with that that thing. Yeah, oh well, no harm, no foul. The extension itself, still solid. No problems there. But it was just the outer suppressor thing. I did try tightening it down, like we said, but oh well. Fox's turn with the 552 Sans faux suppressor.
Faux suppressor.
You know, you would think with that extension on there wouldn't be much of a concussion.
That's a big one.
You would think wrong. Commando. Held open.
Kaboom!
Happened, but the gun ran
Gun's fine.
perfect. And again, even if there was any backblast, it would have hit the extension, not the barrel. So you get it raw here, but 100% reliable. And you know, when you were hanging out the other day, you noticed that gun in the gun room and seemed to kind of take a shine to it.
I did. It's hard not to. This gun, to me, when I think of a Swiss gun, SIG, this kind of does it for me. I love the hand grips on it. I like the bipod. There's a lot of things I like, but looks are definitely one of them.
Yeah. So, since I already had this gun coming out, needed to shoot it. I already had the mags, already had the ammo. We brought that out too. So we're going to run a few rounds through it and let you get a taste of it. See how you're coming along with your enjoyment of
Swiss relationship.
All things Swiss. It's time again for the PE90. Held open. And Fox's very first time with a PE90.
Hit that little safety there. Sweet.
What do you think?
Dude, I love this gun. I will have to change my ear pro out. That's why I was really inconsistent on the
Yeah, we were
brass.
talking about that before. Because of the very intentionally, by Switzerland's part, low axis sights.
Yeah, it definitely pushes your ears out. But dude, this gun is awesome. It is a little heavy, and I'm gonna go back to my Swiss gun complaint, and that's just these grips. If you guys can look at how my hand sets on there, my hand doesn't fully get around the grip. If it was about a ½ inch longer, I almost feel like that's a legit pistol grip, like a kind of a Glock 43 grip there. But the gun shot amazing and could be very easy to keep stable and on target. And
yeah, very first time you were hitting steel quite
yeah, next time I'm gonna lay on the
quickly.
ground and put the bipod down.
That's what it's for.
That's it.
Alrighty, yeah. So I mean, I shouldn't have to say, but I will, because even it's really coming down. Glad to be in here, but they both were 100% reliable, and that's to be expected. Swiss guns, though, funnily enough, they're meant more for the cold, and they did not get the cold today. They were getting
got some
toasty.
muggy heat.
They got some heat. These handguards were heating up. I think it's no surprise that in terms of shooting, that's a more enjoyable gun.
It is. You get a little more hand placement and just not so much of the recussion you get from
Yeah,
that.
this isn't bad.
Yeah,
but
no, it's not bad at all. You
it-
just
for the size and weight, it's not recoily at all. And kind of in the past, I've said this 5.52 system. It's a little different than the modern 5.53, the way it recoils.
it really is. If you're not very familiar with these guns or shot quite a few of them, it takes a little getting used to.
Yeah. So then the 5.52 was introduced in '98, and it was retired by 2008 from the catalog. They had some issues, not so much so that they needed to be recalled, but for one, the original metal guide rods were bending, especially when people would go to disassemble them, and frankly, just the crazier disassembly of them. We can talk about that later. But the main issue was on full auto, after thousands of rounds, you would start to have some fracturing in the bolt carrier up here where the piston connected. So they replaced it with the 5.53, and the 5.53 is still very much a thing today. I think it's no more saying, but I will say, yeah, it's 100% reliable. And for its size, especially coming out in '98, having an 8.9-inch barrel, suppressor-ready gun, 5.56, it was,
It's a big deal.
yeah, there's a reason it was very, very successful for its day and time. And that gun, being introduced in 1986, even though it was only officially adopted in 1990, it's still their primary service gun to this very day, and probably will be for a good bit longer.
I can see why. It just seems like a service gun. I would like to have one thing. I would like to be able to put a flashlight on it. I wish there was a way they'd make a pick rail mount for it
They
that
do.
you could. Oh, well.
Now, see, typically you find them on the smaller guns like these. For one thing, you can just get a quad rail, or they have holes for mounting short rail sections on the
Gotcha.
handguns. On the bigger ones, they do have some that come with those rails and stuff, but
Right.
it's less common. But there are ways.
Cool.
That's a standard shooting gun in Switzerland.
Right.
So yeah, and of course you can always mount the top rail to it. There's a dovetail mount set here.
So
for
you can actually put your optic on
yes,
there.
put it on. It's a cutie thing.
Do they co-witness with the irons, or do you know?
No, they're meant to go above.
Okay.
Kind of like we were talking about the sides. These are intentionally low irons so that
Okay.
soldiers can kind of peek over a barrier. Because
I
Switzerland,
noticed that.
Switzerland was never going to, and hopefully will never will, fight like an offensive war. It's always defensive.
Right.
So that way they could get in a position and really hunker down and not present a silhouette.
Gotcha. That probably has a little bit more to do
Yeah.
with some of the finer cuts.
And now see, this is the newest mag, 30 rounds without the studs. When this gun got introduced, the 30 round studded mag came out. This is kind of one now, a little better for pouch fitting. What's fun is these handguards for 5.52s and 5.53s are actually cut down 5.50 handguards, whereas the 5.51 has its own mold. Easiest way on a picture to tell a 5.52 from a 5.53 is the charging handle. The 5.52 has this unique kind of post style.
It's got like a little.
Yeah, right out here.
It's got like a little nipple on the end of it.
Yeah, whereas a 5.53 has this style.
I will say I kind of like the charging handle a little more on the 5.52.
Oh, the post style.
Yeah.
The straight metal.
Yeah.
I can see that. Of course, this one has the bayonet lug, which is fun.
Oh,
Since I was packing up, I brought the bayonet. I can get it out here. These are really nice blades.
This is a very nice blade.
Spec'd out of Switzerland. You can.
That looks fantastic.
You can put a NATO lug instead. It's just
Don't drop that on your foot.
Fox is going prone.
Knock the target off. Free for all.
Fucking A. But now what target am I going to shoot at?
Misha with the big boy.
So yeah, the PE90. I was kind of happy you picked this. This is a shooter gun as much as it goes. It's kind of what they're for, and this is the classic. But these are kind of the two main sizes and types that the Swiss military has used. Well, that's being replaced by the 5.53. But I'm not gonna say you didn't like Swiss guns when you kind of shot them last year, but a little more time and some more practice with some new models. What are you feeling now?
Well, I feel in my past year I've reached out to a lot of different guns that are out of my quote-unquote comfort or what I know about, I mean, from price points to what I train with on the regular.
Fox's very first rounds, a 5.45 through anything. I'm going to throw the mags on the ground.
Very nice.
Woo-hoo-hoo! What the? Okay.
It's gonna get started for it, dude.
No.
And getting my hands on so many different guns, you really start to appreciate the quality and the feel of these. I'm going to rewind to last year. My main thing was the trigger feel on them, just how different it is. It's
And I get that. I really,
Yeah.
it is different.
The closest thing I had to compare it to were my, MP5K and MP5, but it's a breed of its own. But once you spend a little bit of time behind these, you really start to pick up on that quality, and I hate to say it, but the Rolex quality of a firearm. Is it my favorite gun? Would it be something I would go and just get and only get one of? Probably not, and that's why it's not my favorite gun. I feel
And
like
I would say that too. I'm not, as much as I do a lot with Swiss guns, it's probably not my absolute bar none favorite of all time. But you know what's nice is we don't have to have just one gun.
Well, and that's the deal, is I feel like so many people dive into a gun and they feel like they have to love it. Like, before I buy that gun, it needs to be my favorite. And you just can't be that way. And getting to spend a lot of time behind these, fortunate to be able to, I like it. There's things I would change. There's a lot of old school factors on these that just my hands.
Like you said earlier, you're not really crazy about the pistol grip.
Correct. I haven't spent time behind them. I haven't trained with them.
Well, and both were made for a purpose.
Exactly.
Which wasn't rednecks in Arkansas
No.
weekend shooting.
Well, and to be fair, most of the guns I do shoot and train with are higher end guns. They're just guns that, face it, when I'm doing mag exchanges, those mags hit the ground. Whenever I'm crawling through it, I'm really dirtying up and junking the gun up.
And to be fair, in the military, both of those are
They
true.
do,
But
for sure.
You're not having guys necessarily paying for them.
No, I'm not going to jump in and buy one of these to treat it that way. But the little bit of shooting I have gotten to do with these, I'm starting to like them more.
Yeah, you really seem to kind of take to this one, and I wasn't sure because the 550, the PE90 style, it's not maybe as heavy as some guys make it out to be, but this is a 21-inch barrel.
Well, it's very
This
accurate.
is longer, or the same length as most M16A1, A2 types, and you got a bipod, and you got a full-length gas piston. This is a very long gas piston running from here to here. It's not light,
No, it's not.
but it's not heavy.
Well, and I think there's a lot of dudes out there that they really judge a gun on how much it weighs. Like, for instance, I handed off one of my ARs that I run with my night vision, and the first thing someone's like, well, this is heavy. And it's like, well, dude, it gets the job done, and I'm not going to turn a gun down based on its weight. Are there other guns I would prefer to hike them down mountains with? Sure. But, man, weight has usually always meant something better for me. The CZ Scorpion just proved
that gun's lighter, this
Right.
gun's heavier.
The guns are definitely not cooling off in this sun, so Fox is back with the PE90.
Safety check. Going hot. Just playing with the safety. Don't mind me. I love this gun.
Now Fox back with the Commando.
Commando!
So you've shot both the full size and the Commando a few times now.
Yes.
Any thoughts comparing?
I like the full size a little more, only because obviously the bipod being able to get down, go pro, shoot some long distance. Commando is extremely nice. I like it as well. A little bit more recoil, a little bit more thump. Commando, it just looks cooler. It just looks Commando-ish. Super smooth. I'm starting to really get used to the trigger on these SIGs. I know the first few we shot together, that was my number one. I couldn't understand the trigger. I'm really starting to understand why these are more or less the Rolex of the Swiss SIG guns. But yeah, I like them both.
I think on the trigger too, you've shot more HK types now.
Exactly.
And it's not the same trigger, but the physical trigger itself is kind of HK style, wide and
Right.
with that hook to it.
It is, and mag fitment on both mags. Putting mags in these is really easy. I know it may look otherwise sometimes when you're looking at the mag and to the hole, but fits nice.
What do you think of the safety?
The safety takes a little bit of getting used to. My thumb has to ride up. I'll turn around for the camera here real quick. My thumb has to come a little bit off the gun to get it into safe. Now, putting it into fire is no big deal. It can ride it down, but going up, I have to drop.
And that's kind of what you want in a gun. Going to
sure.
safety, the speed, I mean, you want to be able to do it quick enough, but
You do.
going to fire is kind of the more immediate need.
What I like too is, just like a lot of my ARs, I have ambi set up. If you point the camera down just a little, you can kind of see, I ride up with my finger anyways. So being able to do that, no problem.
Alrighty.
Hey, we scuffed it.
We did.
I like
Let's
it.
scuff it a little more.
But yeah, I think the weight thing's not that big of a deal.
Well, and again, the more gun weighs, the less recoil. Assuming the weight's decently good. Yeah, that gun's lighter. This gun's heavier. Take it as you are. That gun, for what its size is, it does very well, but
Well,
you pay for it.
and the other thing with this, just face it, this would be an excellent close quarter combat gun, maneuvering, going through houses, that kind of stuff. This gun's going to be obviously
Guarding a predator you're studying in a lab.
That's exactly right.
That's exactly.
But he shoots it one-handed so much better than I can.
This is possible. I can see that. That is a gun that you could do one-handed.
But his biceps are also 6 times my size. Actually, to be fair, Lab Escape was kind of scrawny.
It was kind of scrawny.
But yeah, I think
Most people have no idea what we're talking about.
no, they don't. But
That's okay.
they may look into it. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I like both, but if I were going to purchase one today, it would be that one. And,
Yeah,
and
I think if you're just gonna have one, this is kind of the go-to. That one's cool because they don't make 5.52s anymore. Is the 5.53 better? Yes, in every way. There's no real advantage. The whole reason to want a 5.52 is collectability and just kind of that cool factor.
well, and face it, the 5.52 says Commando on it.
Right, and that's what's neat about this one batch of 10. Now, there is a batch of 20 or 25, numbers a little up in the air right now, of 5.53s coming in that are marked 5.53 Commando. So, not 5.52, but at least there's another batch of quote-unquote
Right.
Commandos coming in this summer. So, if you missed the 5.52, there's at least some. And from a shooting perspective, not only do they have the more reliable, durable 5.53 system, they actually come with not only a pick rail on top, but diopter sights too. They're they actually have those diopters, but then a pick rail welded right here.
So they have the pick wheel in there.
Yeah, most 5.53s are just straight pick rail, no
Okay.
diopters. These have diopters and pick rail, which is a custom thing that SiG rarely but occasionally does.
It's a good little treat.
So yeah, they're more of a shooter target. I mean, let's be honest, with only 25 coming in, people are going to treat them as safe queens. I can't blame you, but man, if you can, shoot these guns. Shoot any of the guns. They're fun, and you're not really if you shoot them but take care of them. Like we were running Lake City 5.56, 62 grain, good brass ammo. You're not devaluing it for what small amount you devalue the enjoyment.
And face
more
it,
than
let's use me as a prime example on shooting one of these. 2 years ago or a year ago, I wouldn't have bought one of these, even when you brought them over and I shot it just say 20 rounds.
Alrighty, Fox is going to start off with the American SiG and then transition over to the Swiss.
Safety. I'm going to switch over to the Swiss. Yeah, there's a big difference.
Yeah.
Now that I've put 100, 200, 300 rounds through these, I'm willing to make the investment to spend the money to get one of these. I would have never have done that if I hadn't have shot these.
Yeah, I mean, in life, and we're not saying they're necessarily worth the money.
Right.
But I will say that they hold value well because none of the Swiss guns are ever going to come in hundreds or thousands at a time.
Right.
Hell, SiG struggles to make 50 guns in an order in under 6 months.
No
just
matter
don't
shot
have-
or not.
They don't have the capacity to make more. And I mean, I bought this gun used as a PE90. That's why I don't mind shooting it.
Well, and like you just said, shooting it or not isn't going to affect its value that
Not
much.
much.
It's not like the bourbon I have behind me. The reason a lot of those haven't gotten open is special occasions. You don't have to have a special occasion to go out and shoot your $10,000, $5,000 firearm.
Nope.
Bottles of bourbon, okay, well, that's a battle for next
The
time.
only guns that may get devalued by shooting them are like your gold-plated commemorative engraved guns.
Correct.
But people all buy those and never shoot them, and that's actually why they never go up in value, because everyone who bought one
Never
keeps
shot
it
it.
mint in the box anyway. I'd rather have a gun like this or that, okay, it's not losing value. I can go out and enjoy it, share it with you and other family members like
Right.
nephew. That's worth a lot. And
It is.
it's a different gun. It's not an AR. It's not an AK. It's something
It's its
in
own.
between. Yeah.
It's its own. And
That gun you're holding is a little more AK than AR. This gun's maybe a little more AR than AK. But they're both kind of and they got HK style sights.
yeah, and an HK style trigger. I don't know. They're
Yeah,
just
similar triggers. Yeah, I agree.
They're a unique
And almost
firearm.
AK style mags.
Yeah, no, for real, especially 223.
Yeah.
It's just a unique little dude.
Yeah.
I think if you get the opportunity and you've been floating around, if you should buy one, I think you should.
Yeah, that's why they come up on the channel. That's really where the channel got started back in 2011 was with the U.S.-made SiG551A1, and I've never hated on those for the money, especially back when they're good guns.
I enjoyed the one I shot.
Yeah, you did.
I actually chose it over the Swiss SIG.
Do you think that gun is worth roughly double this gun?
I mean, I may be alone in the boat to say this, and I'm going to say no. So,
Which only the people who stayed to the end of the video caught, because most of them just said, yeah.
yeah, it was
I
really
especially
weird.
like the guys who are like, you shouldn't have told him which is which. I'm
It
like,
says it on the side.
He can read.
But also...
Just because you're from Arkansas, you can read.
And I have my teeth. But the thing about that, too, was it wouldn't have mattered what it said. I'm
Nope.
going to pick... Just like I picked my Scorpion over again. I'm going to pick my gun no matter where it's from.
We
if I
picked
like
a
it
set
more.
me over an HK.
Yeah, I've actually picked a few KUSAs over certain imported AKs. God, I'm going to get
But I will
hated
say
now.
now that the U.S. guns are 2,500,
Spend a
save
little
up
more.
and get the original.
Yeah.
Back when they were 1,000, 1,500
Totally
new
different.
versus 2,500 used, totally different. But if you can get a new one of these for not even, I think in the end you'll be, because a lot of guys I know buy the U.S. ones and then they spend hundreds of dollars, maybe thousands, making a Swiss clone.
Right.
Because the parts just cost so much. And at the end of the day, they're like, wait, for the money I spent,
I could have just went with
Could've just got
Swiss
it.
in the first place.
the only benefit then is you spread out the cost, but it's not as collectible.
Put one on layaway.
But no, they're something I enjoy. I really don't think they're the best guns ever. I don't think even JDI does. But they're unique, special, and yeah, and there's something about being, and as you saw, they are very reliable and very smooth.
Right.
Like these guns run, and they're not ammo picky. That has a 1 in 7 twist. This has a 1 in 10. Good little range there, of course, with a 20-inch barrel, give or take. Plenty of round. You basically get 2 full twists in it.
I'd be curious to see how they shoot suppressed.
Yeah, this one you really can't because it's a single piece barrel. But yeah, the 5.52, 5.53 short barrels, that's what they're made for. I mean, they obviously run fine unsuppressed, but yeah, they're built to be.
Maybe we'll do that next
Yeah.
next down. We'll throw my can on there. Didn't think of that.
Yeah, just not like the can I threw on. Not a faux.
Yeah,
gun.
let's not do the
Yeah.
faux boy.
Like I said, I tried, guys. I dogged those
That's cool.
screws down, but it was. I had a feeling it'd probably do that. That's why those old bolt-on things always made me sketch. But I could feel it slipping off. When
You
we
knew
were
it was
shooting.
coming, and
I
I'm
was
like,
just like,
I'm letting it go.
I'm going to see what happens.
I'm letting it go.
Why? That's what we're here for. Yeah, see what I knew nothing would hurt the gun. Worst case, the extension would blow off. I had to repin it, but otherwise, yeah. But yeah, I promised we'd shoot the Commando. Someone's got to pop its cherry. I mean, there's only a few out in the world, and probably no one else is gonna be stupid enough to shoot one. So,
How many cherries of these have been popped in the mountains of those?
someone's got to do it.
Someone's got to do it. Leave it to these two rednecks.
Yep. And again, this gun I've had for a long time. I actually already got it used, so I have no problem shooting it. It's a lot of fun. So,
Yes, it was.
yeah, like I said, there are some 5.53 Commandos coming, and there are some more PE90 5.50s coming, or depending on when you're watching this, they've come in. And so, both are still coming in small batches. That's just SIG's production. It's cool. It's not for everyone. They are expensive, but There's worse places to put. It's better than going and betting on the ponies.
That's for sure. Or spending all your money on crock pots to cook roast in.
Ah, the spiritual roast.
It's with us all the time.
Yep. Alrighty, guys. This is Misha,
This is Fox.
and we'll catch you very soon after the storm